Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to do an update on bin number 1. So this is a 10-gallon tote that we've had going for almost a year now, it looks like, from the date on it. And it's really needs to be harvested, and I kind of delayed it due to the fruit flies, but now it's really time to just only put food in there, no bedding, and get this ready to harvest. That way we can restart this bin again in the next coming months. So we're going to take a look at it. I think last time we added some food. We're going to see if it needs more food, but no more bedding in this bin. It's just going to only be food, and we're going to bury it under the current compost or vermicastings that are already there. So if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below, and let's go and take a look. Okay, here we go. 10-gallon tote, bin number 1. Current date of 5/3, if you could see that, 2021. Let's take off the lid and take a look here. Little bit of moisture, but not too bad. Dry on one side, a little bit of moisture on the other. I'm sure that's where the moisture is coming from the food. So let's take a look in here, and let's first off take off this little prime section. This was a center feeding last time, and I think we said we're going to feed over here this next time. So let me just see if I can get the light adjusted a little bit better. I think we can pull this up just a little bit like that. Seems like the light's a little bit behind there. Is that a little better? It's hard to tell sometimes when I haven't opened it yet. I think that's a little better. All right, let's take a look in here. So far, I'm not seeing any fruit flies or anything on the top. Let's just dig down in this center section. I already see some worms right here. It's a little bit muddy, so we're not going to add any water to this. Let's just take a look in here. Still see some coffee grounds in there. So you can see here, worms are working pretty well on that. You can see that it looks like we've got some little white worms. Those are probably pot worms. Those are not baby worms. I almost always get pot worms in my bins. It's not a big deal. They come and go as they please. This is a very nice citrus smell to it. So this is probably a orange or lemon or lime or something that was right there. Let's just dig below this a little bit. So here we go. There's a big thing of coffee grounds left in here. Again, it smells very citrusy. I wonder if there's some citrus or something stuck to the bottom of it, but it has a very citrus smell to it. Not too many worms working on it, but that's okay. It does feel a little bit muddy in here. I would like to add bedding really in some cases, but I'm not going to. As I said, I'm going to try to let this dry out on its own and get ready for harvesting, and to do that I can't keep adding bedding to it. So as we dig into the center section some more, we see some more coffee grounds, some more pot worms, some nice healthy looking worms here as well. They're all still working on it. Definitely a very strong citrus odor. It's not bad, it's just it's surprising. I'm not used to having my bins be this citrusy when I open them up. So again, you can see a little bit of I think what's a citrus peel right there. So overall looks good. We're going to bury that back in. And let's just take a look at this side over here, see if anything's going on over here. I think there was a little bit of food left over here last time as well. And we do have some worms in this section as well that are still in there. So they're still working through all this material. They're really digging around in here trying to find stuff. They're not necessarily gravitating right towards the food. You can see a nice healthy big worm right here. So they're moving around quite a bit in here. And they're trying to find every little scrap of food I think they can find. So let's just dig up this corner a little bit. Material feels pretty nice over here. It was just the middle that was a little bit muddy. There's a banana peel stem. Overall, slightly less worm count than I expected digging in this time, but you know, that's what can happen. I mean, we really underfed for a while, so we're trying to build it back up. And now let's just take a quick look over here. Really scraping the bottom there. Not much food in this area except for the bedding material, which I would expect since actually here we go. It looks like a banana stalk right there. Those things take a while to break down, but there's still plenty of worms even in these sections that really don't have a lot of food, which is a good sign that they're branching out. Although I wish that they'd get to the food that's there and consume that first, but they are branching out. We've got this one looks like a pretty young juvenile worm. Not seeing any cocoons. Well, I do see, you can see all these little white dots. So it's actually the grit that I've added in the past. And I do like having a lot of grit in my bins because that's very helpful for the worms to grind up their food. And necessary, of course. So overall, it looks pretty good. I think we are still going to add some food to this. just maybe not quite as much. We're going to add a couple banana peels over here that are frozen, and let's see if I can grab some. Well, let me bring over the container here. I'm going to add some coffee grounds over here as well. I just don't want to dump it all over my table. Oh. All right, so here we go. We got a couple more banana peels and some coffee grounds. This will be a light feeding though, compared to some of the other ones that have been pretty big. We're just going to kind of move that around over here. Now the paper, I will say, for the coffee grounds is actually a bedding material that is not a food source necessarily, or a direct food source, but that's okay. So now we're going to bury this back in. We want to make sure we bury it nice and deep. Make sure we prevent those fruit flies from getting in. You can see quite a bit of worms over there. What we're going to do this time is we're going to dig down over here, and we're going to put this stuff more on top. We're going to leave this side a little bit empty, as we did with the other ones. We're going to put this over here. So, you know, we left that empty before. We're going to leave this side now sort of empty and low. That way this is ready for the next feeding. And we're going to go side to side, and then we'll come back to the center. So that's my update for this week. Overall, the bin looks pretty good. You know, it's not going through food quite as quick as I expected. It's a little bit more damp than I'd like. I probably should leave the top off a little bit, but we'll just let it sit without adding water or any bedding. We'll see if they can work through this material and get through this. So that's my update for this week. If you have any questions, of course, leave a comment down below. And if you have any comments or suggestions or anything, actually, hold on, let's put this back on top, right where we fed. And then we'll put this cover back on as well. But if you have any comments or suggestions, please, of course, let me know down below. And thank you for watching.